these comments from the G7 about putting price caps and stopping imports on oil and gold now. Explain to me how this is supposed to work. I mean, it sounds to me like a case of cutting off your nose to spite your face, because if the US says we're only going to pay so much money for your oil, then Russia's going to turn around and say, fine, we'll keep selling it to China, we'll keep selling it to India. That's not going to make a difference. And if they stop taking imports of gold from Russia, similar situation. There's plenty of demand elsewhere in the world. I mean, the US market for gold is not exactly the biggest in the world.
Yeah. Look, I think when you look at G7, you're losing Russia's losing about $15 billion worth of revenue from its exports of gold. I do think if there is going to be a tit for tat, that Russia has some levers to play if it wants to. But I think you're dead right. On any of these commodities, we've seen in the past, Russia will say, look, it's not going to be in US dollars, it'll be in rubles. If anyone wants it now, it's an open market. I'll just come in and I'll bid for it. We know that India on the crude side is getting discounted prices for its supply of crude. India is a huge supplier of or buyer of gold, so discounted prices of gold from Russia into India will be the same. So I generally think that Russia, if it starts to get concerned, will actually leverage. I think one of the interesting things is looking at one of the other precious metals, palladium, which has been off around about 45% on the year. And I think Russia, who is the largest producer, could tweak that like it's doing with gas, limit the supply. That will help the metal of palladium move higher, which will then pick up more revenue for Russia, or perhaps what it's lost through gold. So an interesting thing to keep an eye on as to where that palladium and how Russia will play that, because if she wants some reaction, tit for tat, that'll probably be where she will do it, in the palladium market.
Gold is exactly where it was when it started this year. The movement is exactly 0.1% since the beginning of the year, Jono. What's going to get it further higher, and what do we need to see in terms of a breakout move before we can confirm that it's on a bullish trend again?
Yeah, Mandy, look, you're 100% right. It hasn't really moved much, and which surprises us because we do have obviously those inflationary issues. I think the market is comfortable within this range, but 1850 on the top side, I think I'd be much happier with my long positions. And then, of course, I do like being long the metal, particularly on these dips and around this area. So 1850, how it gets up there and why it gets up there, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I can guess. But if it does break that on a technical level, then I think we do go up quite dramatically, up to that 1920, maybe even higher.